decide what you like, and then go to grad school. All right, this is useful. You're not supposed to read every book on the reading list, and not every page of it. Maybe you're already at private school, you might know this. We just skim everything. You're not going to be able to read it. I freaked out my first few weeks at Stanford. I was like, professor, my other professors assigned me work too. I can't possibly. And then I figured out you don't need to read the Epic of Gilgamesh. You know, there's a guy, and he has priapism, and everyone's okay at the end. All right, don't have sex with a drunk person. Like, don't even make out with a drunk person. I made out with a woman after I drank a lot, and I had to be, it was like for our first kiss, and I had to be like excused to go to the bathroom and barf in the middle of it, and she's a lesbian now. Which that's true, and I don't think, am I responsible for it, or the party punch? I don't know. I wish I didn't have to think about that every night. But I'm kind of glad to. All right, when you go to college, meet some non-Jews. You people are Jewy enough. Like, my dad was calling me, probably every day. My dad still calls me all the time. He was always like, have you gone to B'nai B'rith? I was like, I want to go to B'nai B'rith. Like, just go and you'll meet some people and get married. Or I don't know what he wanted from me. So eventually I went. It was so depressing. But you know, if you're feeling homesick, you're going to meet plenty of Jews in your life anyway. You're going to go into the media or entertainment, and your agent will be a Jew, your manager's going to be a Jew, producer will be a Jew. Just meet some other people, they'll be interesting. Non-Jews are fascinating. They are. It's like dealing with irrational people. No, it's like they just make decisions for either no reason or they think Jesus would have done it. So they're kind of fascinating. I remember my freshman year, some woman told me, I think I liked her a lot, and we were hanging out in a room, and eventually I was like, you think I'm gonna go to hell, don't you? And she's like, yeah. I only liked her more. So, all right, my main advice is that despite whatever like bitter adults tell you, life becomes easier as you get older. Assuming you don't become like a junkie or have a gambling problem or something. Remember how hard passing your driver's license test seemed before you did it and you realized driving is really easy? That's how life kind of works. I don't think, high school honestly was like the hardest part of my life as far as I never worked so hard to like get good grades, and I knew my rank, and I was only 45 a year, there was like 400 something of us, and I always knew like, am I 12 now, am I 11? And what did everyone else get in their grades, and why don't women like me? There's a lot to think about. And the older you get, kind of the less you have to fit in and negotiate between your parents and your friends and your teachers. You just get to kind of be yourself. You can say whatever you want in front of a giant auditorium of like grandparents and little kids. And it's pretty exciting. Seriously, assuming you're middle class, which like one or two of you might be, thanks to this grant some guy gave you. All that happens is you get jobs and people pay you for not working all that way. And after like 23, people start to have sex on the first date. So it's all just becomes like much easier after this, I think I realized that shortly after I got the Time magazine. It was like my first assignment. I was in Minneapolis. My story was due the next day, and all I could picture was like 4 million readers. And I kind of panicked, and I couldn't write a thing. I was in some hotel. It was like 2 in the morning. I just got in my car and drove. And eventually I saw this White Castle, which is this fast food joint. And I drove to the drive-thru, and I drove up, and the woman's like, can I help you? Through a little speaker. And I said, yeah, I just kind of want to talk. And it's true, and she said, and I said, she's like, great, what do you need? And I told her my situation. I was totally freaked out, I was in over my head, I couldn't handle this job. And she just gave me this pep talk, like, of course you can do it. Like, it's just like other writing you've done, you can handle this. And she's the one that made me realize kind of everything out there is totally doable. Why she was working at a White Castle. The story kind of falls apart around there. But maybe that was her dream, or maybe she was a dancer during the day. I don't know. but it kind of stuck with me. They got me through it. My point, if I were to have one, is that you should just chill out, and the whole concept of like planning and steering your life isn't gonna work. Like things just kind of happen. Like there's just these discrete moments you can't control because your life happens in moments. Like you meet the person you're gonna marry, you get into a college, or you know, don't get into the college, you get offered a job. These are just kind of unplanned things that you can't control. The best you can do is kind of set yourself up to make these things work in your benefit. And the best thing, honestly, you can do to set yourself up is to be born to rich parents in Orange County. So I think you're way ahead of schedule. I'm not concerned for you. I'm concerned for Leia's dad right now. But the rest of you, I'm not worried about. Thanks for having me. This is very, very fun for me, and will impress my grandma to no end. And congratulations, I'm really happy for you. Thanks.
Well, that definitely is a hard act to follow. So, here it goes. Mr. Gelman, Mr. Gavshan, Dr. Roth, esteemed Tarbut teachers and faculty, parents, friends, and above all, my fellow graduates, the class of 2008, I'm honored to stand here before you. Tonight, we reflect upon the path we have taken